Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell you something. David Benavidez is a problem. We've always known him to be a problem, but it looks like he has settled into 175 for sure. What happened this weekend between David Benavidez and Yarde was frightening. What we saw is that David Benavidez will no kidding, he will kill an opponent in the ring if given an opportunity. Not because he's a person who walks around looking for violence. It's because he's a person who takes boxing serious. He knows what's at stake, and he understands if I don't do it to the opponent's going to do it to me. And David Benavidez isn't trying to hear that. After watching him fight Anthony Yarde, I thought to myself, yikes! I say, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. And definitely not take it beyond the stupid. Is what I felt David Benavidez did. He was not going to stop unless the corner stopped the fight, the ref stopped the fight, Yarde took a knee, or Yarde died in the ring. Now, I picked David Benavidez to win the fight. Doesn't mean that I have a crystal ball and shit and I can predict the future. Nobody can. Nobody knows, right? But I know there's a lot of people out here who they don't want to make any prediction. Like they say, the bush have eyes, the bush have ears. And they got a lot of these McNicholases who sit in the bush and they're just listening to see what prediction you're going to make. And if it comes out right, they don't say nothing. But if it comes out bad, they didn't want to jump. Surprise! I heard what you said and you got it wrong. Well, McNicholas, what was your prediction? But they don't make the predictions. Now, the thing with Benavidez, I did think the first 4 rounds would be a 50-50 fight. Yarde has shown to knock people out with one punch. But you can see in the first round, something was wrong with Yarde. Now, I'm going to say this. I truly believe what was wrong with Yarde wasn't a weight cut, wasn't that he didn't acclimate out there in Saudi. I think what was wrong with Yarde is who was in front of him, is the opponent he had in the ring, was David Benavidez. Yarde was throwing pity-pat shots, coochie-coo shots, tickling shots, slapping shots. I don't know what he was thinking about. Like, this isn't a fun sparring session. And Yarde, in my opinion, looked like he was just happy to be in the ring. And he didn't really, almost like he didn't want to hurt David. I don't know what it was. But I'll tell you what, David Benavidez, that's perfect for him. Like, okay, cool. You want to come in here and think we're buddy-buddy? Outside the ring, it's all love. Inside here, I'm going to try to take your head off. And David Benavidez did what David Benavidez was supposed to do, and I'm going to tell you. The reason why I thought it'd be a 50-50 fight is because Yarde can crack, and David Benavidez, when he fought Gvozdyk, he didn't look that great in that fight. That was his debut at 175. When he fought Morrell, Benavidez dominated, but Morrell was able to hit him with a hard shot and buckle his knees, and Morrell had moments. But Benavidez, he won just about every round against Morrell. But it was competitive. And I said, okay, Benavidez and Morrell just jumped to 175. Benavidez may still be trying to acclimate. Then I heard he was having issues with the weight cut. I said, him and Yarde, people are just counting Yarde out. I don't think they should do that. I understand people being a fan of a fighter. And most of these cats, if they're a fan of a fighter, they don't try to understand shit. They're going all in. That's why a lot of people lose money. I don't gamble. But there's a lot of cats out here rolling the dice and gambling, not even understanding the fact that in boxing, anything can happen. So if you lose money on gambling for boxing, good, I'm happy for you. I hope you lose everything. Stop being stupid. Take that money and do something smart with it instead of gambling. But what happened in that ring is Benavidez showed us that he has settled into 175. The fight with Morrell and getting caught is just because he's an offense-first fighter. He's willing to take risks, and sometimes when you take risks, you're vulnerable, you get caught, and bad things happen. But the one thing that we saw when he fought Yarde is that Yarde wasn't ready, man. And I don't know what Yarde's going to do going forward. I'm not going to say his career is over, but when you get beat like that, it takes some out of you. David Benavidez, no kidding, was ripping pounds of flesh from Yarde's face, from Yarde's chest, from Yarde's shoulders, from Yarde's biceps, from Yarde's forearms, from Yarde's midsection, from Yarde's hips. And if David Benavidez could have, he would have probably beat him in the hamstrings, knees and calves, ankles and toes. Like Benavidez was just, with every shot, was taking pounds of flesh off of Yarde. And when you get beat like that, more times than not, you don't return the same. It's hard to return the same. The punch resistance that Yarde showed in that fight, I don't think he has a tenth of that remaining now. I still like Yarde. I like the fact that he came to boxing late, very athletic, very talented. But, you know, he's learning on the job, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. He's going through an apprenticeship right in front of the world. And for anybody saying, you're making excuses. No, I'm not making excuses. What I'm telling you is this was his reality. But he got into big fights. I think this was his third big fight at the biggest stage. He did pretty good against Beterbiev. He did really good against Kovalev, although he lost those fights. But with Benavidez, you just saw that there's just different levels of Benavidez. Benavidez is that man is operating on another goddamn planet right now. And it's not just the power of Benavidez. It's not just the speed of Benavidez. It's not just the heart of Benavidez. It's not just the grit and resilience of Benavidez. It's that mentality. Dude got the devil in him, man. El Diablo is what they should call his ass. No Mexican monster. Fuck that. Diablo. El Diablo. Because he will kill you. And Benavidez is one of the most destructive fighters in the sport today. Bringing that pressure, hand speed, size, raw aggression in a way that very few fighters in the world can handle. When fans talk about the Mexican monster, they aren't exaggerating. He's a 175-pound beast with probably 154-pound hand speed. Heavyweight volume and chin. Come here, Chuco. That's my little man right there. Need help? Come here, bring it in. I'm not pausing the video because I'm human. Look at this. Pow, pow, pow. What happened? Got stuck again?
Yep.
Keep getting stuck, huh?
Nope. I love to do that.
It's okay. Oh, this one here. This one's stuck again. Trigger pulling. Is the bullet again?
I don't know.
It's okay. That's like the fourth time I've had to fix it, huh? Anyway, I'll come out there and fix it in a second, okay? There it goes. There it goes right there. Oh. Here it is. There go that piece again. There it is.
Thanks.
Yep. You just need to stick to Nerf guns. That one there is not as good as the Nerf guns, man. The bullet keeps getting jammed. I'll buy you a couple more today, okay? Close the door, Pocho. Yeah, you see, apologize, but the kid's more important in this video. But what was I saying, man? Man, these little bullet pieces keep breaking off inside the little toy gun. That's why if you're gonna buy your child a toy gun, get them the Nerf gun, all right? The Nerf gun doesn't do it. They make it jam, but not like this shit. Anyway, David Benavidez is a problem, man. Got that hand speed, got that heavyweight. I think he's got heavyweight power. You know, I'll be honest with you. I think he got heavyweight power. But the bottom line is, he's got the chin of a tank. And I just think these traits are what makes Benavidez so dangerous, man. And but some would say that those traits that Benavidez has, they say it could cost him. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, what do I think happens with David Benavidez? Does he beat Zurdo Ramirez? Does he beat Beterbiev, Bivol, Jai Opetaia? Listen. I think we need to really have a full understanding of Benavidez' strengths and how they could carry him through these fights or get him beaten. Because the reality is, Bivol is special, Beterbiev is special, Zurdo Ramirez, I don't know about him, but Jai Opetaia is a problem. So let's look at it this way. For Benavidez, right? You know, with me and my background, one thing that we used to always talk about are pillars. Pillars of strength, pillars of character, pillars of this, pillars of that. Benavidez, I think he's built on pillars. I think he's built on 4 different pillars. Hand speed. For a guy his size, his hand speed is abnormal. He throws 6-punch combinations like a lightweight, but with super middleweight and light heavyweight force, some say even with heavyweight force. His ability to overwhelm opponents comes from his first step and a very fast first shot. Even faster follow-ups and finishing speed when opponents get hurt. Few fighters in the sport can match his combination speed, and it shows in every fight that speed of Benavidez makes a big difference, and he just overwhelms opponents. Second thing is when Benavidez gets in the ring, he immediately starts to step to his opponents. Pressure will burst pipes and will cause his opponents' heads to explode. Benavidez is a walking, let me say, if Pacquiao was a tsunami, Benavidez is a walking avalanche. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't pressure with reckless rushing. He pressures with a steady march, cutting off the ring, parrying jabs, forcing you backward where you can't punch with balance. And that is something not many fighters can do as effective as Benavidez. His pressure has a mental effect, a cardio effect, a physical effect, has an emotional effect. Many fighters fall before he even hurts them because mentally you just start to disengage because you know it's coming. You know that shit is coming. And the third pillar for Benavidez is his mentality and heart. Benavidez fights like a man who refuses to lose. He doesn't accept being backed up. He doesn't accept being outworked. He doesn't accept being hit clean without answering back with something more. So if you hit him once, he's going to hit you back 10 times. But this mentality is both a weapon and a very dangerous trap because fighters with enormous hearts sometimes take shots they don't need to take. And that's what could cause Benavidez ultimately is his desire to go and destroy you. And when if we're talking about fighting the Opetaia, Beterbiev, or Bivol, you just don't know what's going to happen when he gets hit. But one thing for sure is David Benavidez has never shown a moment where a punch has visibly affected him. He did get buckled against Morrell, but his knees buckled, and all he did was catch himself and come back firing and dominating his shit. If anything, it just tickled him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, boom, okay, I got hurt. That was cute. Now, watch me do my dance. And he started to put the bing bings back on Morrell, man. But his chin is granite. He walks through fire. He eats power shots like they're jabs. I like to joke and say eating shit like grapes. And that shit is terrifying. You got a fighter in there and you hitting this man with shots. You see in every fight he's in, nobody's able to hurt him. that terrifies him. And I'm sure that's why Canelo didn't want to mess with him. You're seeing this guy with speed, with heart. He got a chin. He's got power. He doesn't get tired. I'm sure that's why Canelo was there in Guadalajara, Jalisco, shitting bricks. It's like, yo, I ain't doing that. But I do think this is where the danger is for Benavidez. A fighter who trusts his chin too much takes damage he doesn't need to take. And at 175, you know, Yarde was a puncher, but he wasn't really trying to put any power behind his shots. He was fighting scared. But it has everything to do with what Benavidez brought into the ring. Morrell was able to get a little bit of torque behind some shots, and Benavidez felt it. But at the end of the day, Benavidez was able to handle what Morrell was dishing out. But I just think going forward at 175, you know, they got some real punchers at 175. So who can Benavidez beat? And how can he beat him, you know? Because he's at a point, there's no more of these, like he's got to go at the Bivols, the Beterbievs. Like that's where he's at now. He's proved his point. He's a problem at 175. So fighting Bivol, let me tell you something. If anyone can beat Benavidez, it's Bivol, the master of distance, discipline, defensive structure. I know Benavidez said that he beat the shit out of Bivol back in the day, but he said they both have gotten better since, and he doesn't know how the fight would go, but of course he favors himself. But I'll say this, with Bivol, he can win the fight, okay? Remember, this is just a conversation because a lot of you David Benavidez fans, y'all don't hear shit. If it ain't positive for David Benavidez, y'all don't hear shit, y'all shut down. You know what I'm saying? You guys are out here looking for milk and cookies and shit with your headphones on, just waiting to hear something that's not positive about your fighter. But I think Bivol he could win. His footwork alone, man, will avoid getting trapped. His defense neutralizes volume punches. You've seen him do it time and time again. What makes Benavidez special? Straight punches. Those straight punches from Bivol can split Benavidez's guard. He got mental composure. Won't be overwhelmed. Let me tell you something. That shit he faced with Beterbiev, and for Bivol to stay composed and to be able to still stay focused, get his shots off, Benavidez ain't Beterbiev. I'm not saying Beterbiev beats Benavidez, but I'm saying is Beterbiev is a different type of animal, the way he just comes at you. Benavidez stalks you, he cuts the ring off, but what Bivol showed against Beterbiev was outstanding. But you know, he was able to do it because, you know, Bivol has perfect stamina. Over 12 rounds, Bivol is still going strong. And Bivol, one thing about Bivol that other fighters can't do, Bivol can fight off the back foot for 36 minutes. The whole fight, he can fight off the back foot and tear your ass up. So that's really important for people to take into consideration when you're really trying to, you know, analyze how a fight between Bivol and Beterbiev and Benavidez would go. And then also he can punch on the move. When you got a fighter who can punch on the move, Benavidez, he struggles with that. He needs you to basically stand still. He needs you to be in front of him. And just the movement of Bivol could create some serious problems for Benavidez. But Benavidez will have to figure out how to cut the ring off with less steps and how to block those exit routes to make sure that Bivol can't escape. But at the end of the day, Bivol's discipline is his superpower. He got that Russian way of fighting and that Russian discipline. He doesn't get dragged into wars. He doesn't get greedy. He doesn't fall for intimidation, you know. And I think Benavidez wins fights by breaking your mental discipline. And Bivol is unbreakable. That would be a good fight. But what helps Benavidez? He got them fast hands. Those fast hands will force Bivol to defend in bunches. Those fast hands show up every fight, and those fast hands give Benavidez the advantage in almost every fight that he's in. Benavidez brings pressure. His pressure can steal rounds and could force Bivol to be more defensive than we've seen him. He has size. His size matters. Canelo didn't have the size to really come and give problems to a guy like Bivol. Beterbiev didn't really have the size to add to the complexities that Bivol was dealing with in that fight. And then I just think with Benavidez, the size is definitely going to show up. But his chin, again, he can take Bivol's lighter shot and he can just force forward. And I'll tell you what, man, what although these are some strengths of Benavidez and things I think Benavidez can do, man, to really get the upper hand, there's some things that can hurt Benavidez. He throws wide shots. When he gets in front of opponents, his hands are down because he's comfortable. And you do that shit, throwing wide shots at Bivol, Bivol will counter your ass. Simple. Beterbiev. It's you got Bivol, Beterbiev, Benavidez, the 3 Bs. The shit's a goddamn tongue twister. Benavidez gets frustrated by movers. He wants you to stand in front of him. That's why he's like, come on, come on. No, when he does this, come on, come on. No, you go away, go away. Because that's what he wants, so he can bust your ass, man. And one thing that I realized, he will allow opponents to escape angles. So Benavidez will have to sort that out if he's going to fight Bivol. And he has a good, strong, powerful jab, but he doesn't necessarily use the jab to establish and hold and win a distance battle, man. So I just think Bivol likes the discipline, Benavidez likes the chaos. Bivol can survive chaos, and Benavidez has shown to destroy discipline. And that's why this fight is so compelling now with Beterbiev. This dude is like the thunder god. If Beterbiev hits your ass, man, you are going to feel it, man. Beterbiev is pure destruction. He hits like a heavyweight. He cuts the ring like a machine. He's a 100% knockout ratio for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Going into the Bivol fights. But Beterbiev can beat Benavidez, you know? It's a real interesting matchup. See, this is where you get to some truly 50-50 fights. He can match the intimidation factor. You know, Beterbiev's not scared of nothing. He hits harder than anyone Benavidez has ever faced. He won't be backed up easily. Physically, I believe he's stronger. He punches reckless combinations. He punishes reckless combinations. And he's the only fighter who can walk through Benavidez' fire and answer with strong fire. Benavidez and Beterbiev is no kidding, a battle of monsters. Beterbiev may be the final boss. Doesn't mean he beats Benavidez, but it means that he is the final boss. If Benavidez can clear that stage, he's on to some great things. But in order for him to clear that stage, he's got to understand that Beterbiev is aging. I got an old man in front of me. I'm going to treat you like an old man. I'm going to put that belt to ass, bing to bing. I'm going to knock your ass out. Benavidez is fresher. Benavidez has faster combinations. Benavidez throws more punches. And Benavidez hits hard too. But going up against a guy like Beterbiev for Benavidez, you know, I just wonder how his chin stands up against someone who hits like Beterbiev. Benavidez will square up a lot too. That's something else that could be problematic for him. And he can be hit clean in exchanges and just wonder what happened when he gets hit by Beterbiev. So his desire to prove toughness may get him knocked out. But I think that Beterbiev survived Bivol. Bivol survived Beterbiev. So I may have to favor Benavidez against Beterbiev, but Benavidez and Bivol is a little bit different. But the bottom line is you can't count Benavidez out. And some people probably say, nah, man, Beterbiev would beat the shit out of Benavidez. Nah, Beterbiev wasn't able to really catch up to Bivol, but we know Bivol is a great boxer, great footwork. The bottom line is we can go back and forth and argue who can win, who can lose, because they're so competitive. But the fight with Beterbiev and Benavidez, that shit is Armageddon, man. That shit is fire versus fire. And some say that Beterbiev is the most dangerous opponent for Benavidez. Now, the one fight that seems that is going to happen on Cinco de Mayo weekend is David Benavidez against Zurdo Ramirez next year. Now, I'll say this. Zurdo is 6'3", long, durable. He's a southpaw. He throws volume. This is the first fighter who can match Benavidez' size and natural frame, but I just think Benavidez will shoot that right hand and just destroy Zurdo. I don't think Zurdo beats Benavidez. I don't think he has a chance. I think Zurdo looks like food for David Benavidez. A Mexican monster going to eat his ass alive. But there are some things that Zurdo brings to the table, and at least it's fun to just have the discussion. Because Zurdo is hard to hurt. He throws long combinations. He works behind his southpaw jab. His size doesn't allow Benavidez to bully him necessarily. He has upper body rhythm that can break pressure, and he's physically strong enough to maybe push Benavidez back. But at the end of the day, Benavidez is faster. He throws straighter, sharp shots. You better believe the right hand's going to come into play against the southpaw. He has very smart, effective pressure, and he's better at exchanging on the inside, mid-range, and even at a distance. So that's just, to me, looks like an easy win-win for Benavidez. But at the end of the day, you just don't know if Zurdo is going to be able to get off body shots, if Zurdo's not going to back up, if Zurdo is going to be able to counter Benavidez when Benavidez is stepping in. And you just don't know what happens with the southpaw angles. You're going to be able to disrupt Benavidez's rhythm over the course of the fight to where now Zurdo gets the biggest win of his career. But again, I don't think Zurdo beats Benavidez at all. I'm just telling you that. So if you're a Zurdo fan, sorry, but I don't think he stands a chance against David Benavidez, man. At the end of the day, the fight becomes a long man versus long man, volume versus volume, pressure versus counter pressure. Benavidez, he can win. Something he has to work harder than usual because it'll be at cruiserweight. I don't think so. I think Benavidez does the business. I actually think that's an easy fight for him. I get that shit 3 rounds. I think he gets him out unless Zurdo is able to run around the ring and Benavidez would have to try to catch him. But other than that, if Zurdo fights him and Benavidez beats him, no problem. No problem. Now, the one person who I think is a problem for Benavidez is the cruiserweight assassin, Jai Opetaia. Jai Opetaia may be the scariest matchup for anybody. He's a natural cruiserweight, elite footwork, power, angles, athleticism. He's got it all. Now, why Opetaia can win? Simple. He hits harder than anyone Benavidez has ever fought. He's much more mean than anyone he's fought. Shit, he may be meaner than Benavidez. Same way we say Benavidez will kill you in the ring, Opetaia will kill your ass in the ring. So this is going to definitely be monster versus monster. More so than Beterbiev versus Benavidez. The Opetaia-Benavidez fight is the fight to make. He moves really good than anyone Benavidez has ever fought. He's bigger, he's faster, he throws dynamic, unpredictable angles. He has real knockout power at the higher division. He's not a fluke. He's not a joke. Opetaia is like a fusion. If you take Usyk's rhythm, you take Bivol's movement and Beterbiev's power, you get Jai Opetaia. And that's just being real, man. This has Benavidez's worst stylistic matchup if they ever cross paths. But there are some things that help Benavidez, man. Opetaia will, trade unnecessarily. That could give Benavidez an opportunity. Opetaia can be touched early, middle of the fight, and late in the fight because he's a guy who takes risk and wants to fight you. Benavidez has more volume, and Benavidez can pressure in ways cruiserweights don't like. So those are all pluses for Benavidez, but there's some things that hurt him. He's smaller. I don't think he'll ever be bigger than Jai Opetaia. Trying to walk Jai Opetaia down won't be easy. The reality is Opetaia can hurt him badly. And Opetaia won't stay still for combinations, man. So this fight is dangerous. The fight is unpredictable, and this shit is violent. When I say violent, I said violent. V-I-O-lent. So at the end of the day, who can beat Benavidez? Most likely to beat him, for Bivol. If Bivol were to beat him, it'll be the discipline, movement, angles, and ring IQ. But I think Bivol will make it an interesting fight. Beterbiev has the power, strength, and brutality, but I just don't think Beterbiev beats Benavidez. I think Benavidez will beat Beterbiev and struggle with Bivol because Bivol is a great mover, great boxer. As far as giving him hell, Zurdo Ramirez could frustrate him with his size, volume, southpaw stance, and ability to move around, and he's so long. But I think Benavidez gets Zurdo out of there. I give it 3 to 5 rounds. I think he gets him out of there. But then Jai Opetaia, again, that's the one. Too big, too fast, too dynamic. But it'll be a damn good fight. A damn good fight because Benavidez ain't going to quit. But Jai Opetaia can do everything. He can box. He can bang you out. He can counter. He can move. Jai Opetaia can do everything. So Jai Opetaia is the one I think is the most dangerous fight. But at the end of the day, Benavidez, he's his biggest danger. He's his biggest threat. Because his chin, his heart, his willingness to fight like a monster, Those are the things that are going to bring danger to Benavidez. But those are the same things that make him great. Could get him hurt against an elite 175 and above fighter, because when you get up there, you got to fight with a lot more IQ, a lot more intelligence. The fans will love the entertainment, but it could be dangerous just going and fighting with your heart and your balls, man. But make no mistake, Benavidez is a threat to all of them. Benavidez can beat them all. He can beat all of them. But it won't be easy. Zurdo, I think, is easy. But the rest of them, shit won't be easy. And that's what makes it so interesting. I could see all of them beating Benavidez. I could see Benavidez beating all of them. I just don't see Zurdo beating them. But everyone else, it's 50-50, straight down the line. If they show up and fight, Yarde, first 4 rounds should have been 50-50, like I said. And the first 2 or so was, you could see that it wasn't going to end well for Yarde, but Benavidez took off after round 4 like I said he would, and he got the stoppage. So fight went pretty much like I thought. I just thought Yarde would show more power. He didn't. So, we got that one right. Anyway, man, this is what makes his move at light heavyweight exciting and his move to cruiserweight even more exciting. That being said, man, y'all keep cool. I'm about to head out to IKEA. I'm in the breeze.